Welcome to Gaychology, where we examine and ponder the mind, behavior and attitudes of the gay male. Today we're going to talk about hard-ons. No, not those hard-ons. That's for another discussion, or maybe later tonight. Right now we're going to talk about conceivably being too hard on yourself at times, or, if you're a perfectionist, perhaps quite frequently. Okay guys, I thought I'd put on my jacket for this little lesson, to look more professional. Do you like it, or should I keep it off? Or would you rather see you avatar teacher shirtless? Drop your comments below. I don't know. I can't compete with this guy. Anyway, back to learning about the hard-on in your hand. Excuse me, I mean the hard-on lesson at hand. I compromised. I took the jacket back off. Okay guys, seriously. If you think that you or someone you know may be too hard on themselves for some reason, let's talk about that a little. There are many reasons someone can be too self-pitying, and some people who are frequently too hard on themselves may see their self-criticism as justified. Perfectionists are especially prone to this. They may not even realize that they are too self-critical, but awareness is the first step to changing your personal manner. Occasionally being too hard on yourself is nothing to worry about. It just shows that you aren't satisfied with the results that you wanted, or you didn't achieve the goal that you desired. But if self-criticism or self-torture is a constant part of your demeanor, you may want to work on it and change your behavior to a more reasonable level. Some typical examples of negative self-judgment are that you beat yourself up over mistakes you made that have minimal consequences. Say that you're usually a stickler for checking expiration dates on consumables, but recently you purchased a huge tub of yogurt that expires the next day and you didn't realize it. Don't freak out. Chill out. Put some limits on your screwing up. You are good at setting goals, so make this a goal. Just ignore and forget about mistakes that waste under $10 of your money or waste under 10 minutes of your time. Let them go. Let the little, inconsequential matters go. It's no big deal. Don't fret about them. You may also find that you tend to dwell on your mistakes themselves, way past their expiration dates. You not only fret about the little mistakes you made at the time, but you continually agonize that you even allow yourself to make mistakes at all. You are always thinking about things you deem to be mistakes. Whether it's something you said or did or a choice you made, if you think you made a mistake you'll go over it again and again in your head, sometimes for days. If you correct a mistake you keep criticizing yourself for making it in the first place. Say that you typed someone's name wrong in an email or said something that you regret now that may have been too insensitive without you realizing it until after you hit the send button. Even if you sent a second email to apologize, you continue to dwell on it and beat yourself up for making the blunder in the first place. You keep telling yourself how rude and disrespectful it was and keep kicking yourself in the head and you won't let it go. Just relax and do let it go. Tell yourself you did the proper thing by apologizing and that you corrected the error. Recognizes that guilt motivates us to make amends and to strive not to repeat mistakes. And realize that everyone makes mistakes. Allow yourself to move on once you have corrected a simple error. Just as you dwell on minimal mistakes like buying outdated yogurt, don't dwell on simple errors that you have heretofore already corrected. Let it go. Everyone screws up making basic mistakes. Everyone. You are not the only one. Forget about it. Move on. Only one. Okay guys, here's a big one. Are you or someone you know a perfectionist? I know we gay guys can be meticulous about our bodies and also what we wear. For a lot of us our bodies have to be perfect all of the time. We are always at the gym. When we go out our clothes have to be impeccable, in style, and from the best designers. Maybe at work you have to be perfect at your job. Things have to be done a certain, particular way. Your way. You are a perfectionist. Maybe you find it hard to acknowledge or tolerate your shortcomings, so therefore you fixate on eliminating all of your flaws that you think you have. Maybe you like to enforce particular rules so that people around you or under you have to perform to your standards of operation, and things have to be done to your liking. Perhaps your abode has to be spotless all of the time, and everything has to be in its place. Messes or disorganization drives you bananas. Maybe you consider your roommate, or lover, a slob because they are not as meticulous about cleanliness or organization as you are. Maybe you are the odd couple and you play Felix the finicky one, and you are fussy about everything. Striving for perfection or excellence is not a bad thing. It's good to have ideals and to strive for precision and achievement, but if it's out of control and you freak out when you don't meet your own expectations or demands, and it aggravates you to no end, or it causes you anxiety if your friends or co-workers' actions or disactions don't meet your expectations either, and causes you major annoyance, then maybe you need to relax some of your standards and realize that no one or anything is 100% perfect, and it's nothing to get upset about or criticize yourself or other people for. Relax and chill out a little bit. Allow some leeway and don't get perturbed when certain things don't always meet your expectations. Allow for inconsistencies and deviations now and then. No one is perfect all of the time. Perfection is a good goal to aim for, but rarely are people or circumstances ever 100% perfect. So allow for imbalance and errors now and then, and realize that they do happen and account for them. It's only human. And as I said and we know, humans are never perfect. Perfection is a beneficial goal to aim for, and if people or circumstances are on the right path to excellence and are aware of the ultimate goals to aim for, and their priorities are established and avowed, then they are headed on the right highway to the preeminent destination or goal. But realize accidents and car trouble do happen, and stopping for gas or at a rest stop to freshen up are necessities on the road to success. So strive for perfection, but allow for bumps in the road, maintenance and breathers along the way. If you are strict about your physique or diet, have a cupcake now and then, and hit the gym the next day to work it off. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can still have a hot body and go off your diet occasionally. Indulge in dessert, then indulge at the gym. Perfection always leaves room for errors, and errors can always be corrected. Our next topic is failure. Do you feel like a failure even though you most likely really have all of your bongo drums together? People who are hard on themselves are often very self-critical when they take a good look at their lives, and only focus on all the areas in which they aren't perfect. They overlook all the things that they do right. They are quick to identify ways in which they may have come up short, but often unable to celebrate when things go well for them. That's because your mind is internally prone to look for ways you could have done something better or differently that might have resulted in a better outcome. And when you do have successes, you tend to play them down or refute them altogether. You may also fear failure. Your impatience for success could be driven by your abject fear of failure. You try very hard to reach the soaring targets you set for yourself because the idea of letting people down terrifies you. You think that anything less than perfection is a stain on your character and that people will think less of you because of it. If you have done your best at something, and have given it all that you've got by your preparation and diligence, be proud of yourself. Also, stop comparing yourself to others. You are the only person who has lived your life, so it is pointless to try and compare yourself to others. You don't know what opportunities other people have had, or what experiences they have gone through for them to be where they are today. Everyone has a different history and occurrences in their life. Comparing yourself to others is a one-way ticket to displeasure in your own life, because no matter what level of success you may achieve, there will always be people with whom you can compare your life adversely with. Ask yourself what your life looks like to other people. If other people would view your life as having your act together, do you think that there might be a grain of truth to that? Is the reality of your life and fortitude actually less rosy than other people might perceive, but, in fact, is better than you give yourself credit for? What do you do right that you may take for granted? The answer to that may just dispel any negative thoughts you may have about your failure misconceptions. Keep focusing on your own successes and give yourself a pat on the back when you succeed at something, and don't worry about what other people think about you, or fret that they may have achieved more than you. Just take action and focus on your own goals without worrying about what other people think, do or say. Okay guys, let's move on to the next matter. Are you a person that is overly concerned about what others may think of you? Do you freak out when someone criticizes you? Perhaps you brandish the idea that other people might not like, respect or appreciate you or the things you do, so you try even harder to please them. Maybe you push yourself beyond your limits in order to avoid the disdain or ridicule that might come your way should you make a mistake at something. It could possibly be that you fear your boss or superiors at work, persuading yourself that they are unhappy with your performance and you fear that your job may be at risk. Maybe you erroneously believe that your friends secretly mock your achievements or that your family is disappointed with your status in life. Do you absolutely loathe it when criticism is directly aimed your way? It doesn't matter how trivial or paltry a comment may be, how insignificant the other person really views it, or, in fact, how constructive they may intend it to be. Yet when someone genuinely suggests that you could do better at something, feelings of worthlessness, deficiency and imperfection may nonetheless erupt deep within you. Perhaps you are also guilty of being too critical of yourself. As hard as you find it to take criticism from others, paradoxically you are quick to point out and recognize all of the flaws you see within yourself. You routinely highlight your weaknesses, both to other people you communicate with, and also within your own mind, because you genuinely feel that all these seemingly bad points about yourself do indeed exist. It doesn't matter how many people tell you otherwise, once you become convinced of a shortcoming or flaw about yourself, it sticks with you like Gorilla Glue for a very. There are fixes for self-criticism. As long as you know that you are doing things to the best of your ability and on a positive path, without causing harm or injustice to others, there is really nothing to worry about at all. As mentioned before, do not compare yourself to others. You are the only person who has ever lived your life. You have your own unique experiences. It is healthy and not beneficial to compare yourself to others that have totally different life experiences than you. No matter what level of success you achieve, there will always be people to whom you will find to compare your life unfavorably with. It serves no good purpose to compare your life with theirs. As well, if you find yourself being critical of others, stop. Do not pour scorn on the choices and achievements of others. When you denigrate people behind their backs, you only serve to reinforce the negative messages that you then proceed to direct inwards toward yourself. By being critical of others, you strengthen your own inner critic as well. Karma is a bitch. More than that, trust yourself like you would your best friend. There's a great chance that you are more hard on yourself than you are on the people that matter to you the most. Treat yourself like you would your friends and family. Treat yourself with compassion, encouragement and with a softer approach to failure and mistakes, rather than beating yourself to a pulp over mistakes or screw-ups. Ask yourself, what would you tell a friend who came to you unhappy that they had failed at something? What would you say to them? How would you comfort them and convince them that things are not as bad as they seem, and caution them not to be so hard on themselves? Transition this dialogue accordingly to your own mind. Repeat the same reassuring and positive communication in your own mind and inner monologue when you self-talk with yourself. talk with yourself as if coming from a third party's perspective. Replace any negative self-dialogue with positive, reassuring self-dialogue. It does work, if you work it. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. Get rid of any negative Nancys in your life. When you are struggling to believe in yourself, it pays to have plenty of loved ones and positive people around you, who support you and whose belief in you never falters. Supportive people help pull your mind out of any darkness, and back towards the light by reassuring you of your many talents and positive qualities, and by giving you a good sense of perspective so that you can enjoy where you are today and the plethora of bounty that life has to offer. When other people are very sure of you and your positive qualities, it can't help but make you a little more sure of yourself. Finally, just learn to develop a thick skin. It's almost inescapable that you will encounter some criticism in your life, so it is critical that you acquire a thick skin in order to inhibit any potential damage it may do to your sense of worth. Learning to take on positive and comprehensive suggestions are vital if you are to avoid seeing and defining them as personal attacks on your persona or character. And it is also quite healthy to consider alternative points of view as unique learning opportunities. As well, just because someone else disagrees with how you do something does not mean that they are right and you are wrong. Never let anyone undermine a view that you steadfastly hold to, or feel passionately about, just because they see it differently than you do. Finally guys, are you too impatient for success? Are you in a constant state of anxiety because your vision of your success compared with the reality of it eludes you? Are you not happy with the halfway point that you are at between failure, or starting out with a goal, and success? Maybe you are actually making good progress on your goals from an outsider's perspective, yet you remain unhappy and unsatisfied until you actually achieve and reach a certain goal to completion. You are discontent and not satisfied with anything less than the perfection that you aim for, making you constantly seeking ways to speed up the process of attaining excellence or your ultimate achievement. Trying for and expecting success too fast can make you susceptible to the lure of a quick fix, an undesirable shortcut, or to cheat at something to get to where you want to be sooner than you are ready for it, or genuinely deserve it. Take your time, be patient, and stay focused on your path to success. Success will come with time, determination and persistence. Could it be a possibility, also, that you are perhaps too envious of others that have what you want, or where they are today, by being too harsh on yourself, or by being entirely convinced by your own self-described failings? Maybe you wish that you could enjoy the same level of success, happiness and material wealth that others have, regardless of any troubles or negative circumstances that they may be facing that you don't even know about, because you are blind to those facts. When you place yourself in that envious state of mind, you are more likely to ignore people's shortcomings, drawbacks and imperfections that they most likely have, in their otherwise perfect life. Everyone has flaws and imperfections in their so-called perfect and ideal life. Okay guys, now that we've talked about a few things that may or may not pertain to you about being too critical or hard on yourself, and perhaps treating yourself too harshly on such matters, let's go over and reiterate some ways to get yourself out of this damaging mindset. If you are willing to take the time to work at it, there are certain things that you can do and habits to adopt that will give you a more compassionate and fair view of your own achievements without being so critical of yourself. First, be aware that behaviors, attitudes and demeanors don't change overnight, but if you are willing to work at it, accept that it will take time, and have some patience and confidence that positive results will manifest. There are things you can do and new habits to adopt that will improve your disposition and poise, and bestow you with more charitable views of your own accomplishments. First of all, as previously mentioned, just treat yourself like you would your best friend. Most likely, You are harder on yourself than you are on those you care about the most. Treat yourself like you would those other people. Treat yourself with compassion, encouragement and a lighter and more gentle approach to so-called failures and mistakes. What would you say to a friend who came to you unhappy that they had failed at something? How would you comfort them, and assure them that things are not as bad as they seem? Employ the same method upon yourself. Next, ask yourself if the situation at hand will really matter in a year, a month, or even a week from now. Instead of falling into a self-critical or guilty frame of mind, ask yourself if this bump in the road will really matter in the long run. Consider that you may not even remember a situation after time passes, and if you do you may even look back at it with a smile on your face, realizing how ridiculous it really was. As stated previously, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has lived their life differently, with different pasts, opportunities and experiences. There is no benefit to you in comparing yourself to others. You will just end up feeling dissatisfied with yourself and not content. Be happy with who you are and where you are at today. Likewise, do not criticize others. When you criticize and find fault with others, you only strengthen your own inner critic as well. You only serve to reinforce negative messages that you proceed to direct inwards to yourself. Additionally, accept the things you cannot change in life and that you have no control over. There are some situations and circumstances in life that you wish would change, but in reality they assuredly cannot be changed. Realize that there are certain things that you just have no power or control over, and accept it. There is no use worrying about things that you have no control over, like death, taxes, and many other situations in life. These situations should never let you undermine the belief that you have in yourself. Only concern yourself with matters pertaining to you that you do have control over. Why even bother worrying about things that you have no control over? It serves no justifiable purpose. Just learn to accept certain things the way that they are. If you don't, you could find yourself taking the blame for an entirely set of circumstances completely beyond your control. Why feel that way? Like the mantra in Alcoholics Anonymous goes, grant yourself the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Next, always remind yourself of your successes. It's easy to get caught up and think about all the negative baggage, mistakes and other situations that seemingly have gone wrong in your life. View these as learning experiences, and what not to do anymore. Look at what you gained beneficially from these experiences. Focus on the aspects of negative situations that have occurred in your life, what you gained positively from them. But more importantly, focus deeper on the good things that have happened in your life. What positive experiences have you had? What have you achieved that you are proud of? Focus on the successes and accomplishments that you have achieved, and build upon and add to those in your continual creation of prosperity. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and support you. Get rid of any negative people or influences in your life. Positive friendships and influences help pull our minds out of any darkness and back towards the shining light of our accomplishments and talents we possess in our short existence we have here on earth. Positive and caring friends and acquaintances are very beneficial to have for our well-being and success. Finally, pay attention to your inner monologue and self-talk. Monitor your self-dialogue. Take control of it. Pay attention to your language being used when you talk to yourself and when you tend to put yourself down or are being too critical of yourself. Learn to disagree with what your mind and self-chatter is saying when it goes against your true or strive for beliefs and betterments. Replace your negative self-dialogue with positive, uplifting dialogue. It is within your own mind that you must make changes with yourself if you want to improve and better yourself. As a man thinketh, so is he, as the author, James Allen, said, in actuality taken from a proverb in the Bible stating as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Whether you are religious or not, the saying is accurate. You may be under the impression that your inner monologue is something that you have no control over, but you really can change your negative self-talk, thoughts, negative vibes and messages your mind may be giving you, by changing and replacing your negative dialogue and thoughts to positive dialogue and communication with yourself. Simply replace any negative or unvaluable dialogue or self-chatter in your mind with positive and uplifting dialogue. If you keep telling yourself that you cannot do something, it becomes a reality for you. Change that negative chatter to say that you can, indeed, do something, and that you will succeed at it, then that will become a reality for you. The mind is a wonderful instrument, especially when you have control over it. In summary, ditching harsh self-criticism and putting a stop to being so hard on yourself is greatly to your benefit. You'll feel better and be in harmony with yourself and with other people. You'll tend to make better decisions and waste less time and emotional energy on negative conditions and circumstances, leaving you to be more productive, prosperous and happy in life. Like I said earlier in the message, there's really only one type of hard-on that you should truly have interest in and be concerned about. And I'm sure you know exactly where that is.
Hey guys, just so that you know, this channel is for informational purposes only. It expresses the author's opinion for guidance and encouragement. The expressions of Gaychology are not intended for diagnosis or treatments of any ailments or conditions. They are not expert or professional instruction or direction. Please seek the advice or treatment of a professional medical doctor, psychologist, therapist, psychiatrist or clinician if you feel that you so need it. Thank you.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you like this channel, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below. Let me know if you found this topic helpful. Also, please let me know of any topic that you would like to be discussed in the future, or any subject or matters you need understanding about or help solving. I'll be more than happy to help. Likewise, any feedback is appreciated, negative or positive. Let me know what you don't like or can be improved upon, and I'll do my best to integrate your suggestions and accommodate them. Until we meet again. And remember, be bold, be proud, be gay. Gay? There's nothing queer about it. See ya guys.